Welcome to this course on the U non-immigrant status known as the U visa. In this course, we will explore what the U visa is, who qualifies, what requirements must be met, the documentation needed, and how to properly file the petition with USCIS. Let's get started. Let's take a look at the U visa legal framework. The U visa was created by Congress under the Victims of Trafficking and Violence Protection Act of 2000 and is codified in Immigration and Nationality Act, INA, Section 101A, 15U. The implementing regulations are found in 8 CFR Section 214.14. It was designed to encourage victims of certain crimes to report and assist in investigations or prosecutions without fear of deportation. The U visa grants temporary immigration status to non-citizens who are victims of certain qualifying crimes that occurred in the United States and who have cooperated or are cooperating with law enforcement in the investigation or prosecution of the crime. It offers work authorization, protection from removal, and a pathway to a green card after 3 years of the approval. The qualifying crimes for this type of visa are abduction, abusive sexual contact, blackmail, domestic violence, extortion, false imprisonment, female genital mutilation, felonious assault, fraud in foreign labor contracting, hostage, incest, involuntary servitude, kidnapping, manslaughter, murder, obstruction of justice, peonage, perjury, prostitution, rape, sexual assault, sexual exploitation, slave trade, stalking, torture, trafficking, witness tampering, and unlawful criminal restraint. To qualify for a U visa, a person must meet certain requirements. They need to be a victim of one of the qualifying crimes I just mentioned. The crime must have taken place in the United States or have violated U.S. laws. As a result of the crime, the person must have suffered significant physical or emotional harm. They also need to obtain a statement from a law enforcement agency confirming the criminal activity. In addition, the person must have been helpful or be willing to help law enforcement in the investigation or prosecution of the crime. Lastly, they must be admissible to the United States or apply for a waiver using Form I-192. In some cases, immediate family members may also qualify for a U visa. If the main applicant is under 21, their spouse, children, and parents may be eligible. If they are 21 or older, only their spouse and children may qualify. To prove they're eligible for a U visa, petitioners must provide credible evidence that a qualifying crime took place and that they were the victim of that crime. They also need to show that they suffered significant physical or emotional harm as a result. Finally, they must demonstrate that they are cooperating with law enforcement in the investigation or prosecution of the case. Supporting evidence can include a variety of documents that help prove the case. This may involve police reports, medical records, or mental health evaluations. It can also include photographs of any injuries, court documents related to the crime, a personal declaration from the petitioner, and affidavits from family members or friends who can speak to what happened. To apply for a U visa, several forms and documents are required. First is Form I-918, the main petition for U non-immigrant status. Along with that, the applicant must include Form I-918 Supplement B, which is a signed certification from a law enforcement agency, prosecutor, judge, or another authority. This form is essential and must be signed within the past 6 months. The application also needs to include a personal declaration, that is a written statement from the petitioner explaining what happened, how the crime impacted them, and how they cooperated with law enforcement. They'll need to submit Form I-192 if the person is inadmissible to the U.S. due to issues like unlawful presence or a criminal record. And if they are including eligible family members, they must also file Supplement A. It's important to note that there is no fee for Form I-918 or for the work permit based on deferred action, and fee waivers are available for the other forms if needed. The U visa filing process involves several important steps. First, the applicant must obtain a signed law enforcement certification known as Form I-918B. This form must be signed within 6 months of submitting the application. Without it, USCIS will not review the case. Next, you should prepare the complete application packet, including all required forms and supporting evidence. Once everything is ready, the packet should be mailed to USCIS using the address listed on the official USCIS website. After receiving the application, USCIS conducts a review and makes what's called a bona fide determination. If the petition is considered bona fide, the agency may grant deferred action and allow the petitioner to apply for a work permit using Form I-765. As part of the process, background checks and fingerprinting are required. USCIS may also send a request for evidence or RFE if additional documents are needed. If the petition is approved, the applicant will receive U status, which lasts for 4 years. The individual may apply for lawful permanent residence after holding U status for 3 years, filing Form I-485. U visa petitioners may be eligible to apply for work authorization, but not right after filing. While their Form I-918 is pending, they might qualify for a work permit through something called a bona fide determination, or BFD. If the petitioner submits a complete application with all the required evidence and passes background checks, USCIS may review the case and decide that the petition is legitimate and properly filed. If that happens, they can grant what's called deferred action, which allows the petitioner to apply for a work permit by submitting Form I-765 under the C-14 category. It's important to note that simply filing Form I-918 does not automatically give the right to work. USCIS must either issue the bona fide determination or approve the U visa first. Once the U visa is officially approved, USCIS will automatically provide a work permit that's valid for the same duration as U status, which is usually 4 years under Category A-19. Here's a quick summary of when a U visa petitioner can apply for a work permit, depending on the stage of the process. Right after filing Form I-918, but before receiving a bona fide determination, they cannot apply for a work permit as the work authorization is not available at that point. However, once they receive a bona fide determination from USCIS, they become eligible to apply for a work permit by submitting Form I-765 under the C-14 category. Finally, after the U visa is approved, work authorization is granted under Category A-19 and is valid for the same period as the U visa, which is usually 4 years. The U visa process has some important limitations to keep in mind. By law, USCIS can only issue 10,000 principal U visas each fiscal year. Because of this cap, many eligible petitioners are placed on a waiting list and may be granted deferred action while they wait for a visa to become available. As of the recording of this lesson, the wait time to receive a U visa is more than 5 years. To sum up, the U visa is meant for victims of certain crimes who are willing to help law enforcement with the investigation or prosecution. To qualify, applicants must show that they experienced harm, that they cooperated with authorities, and they must include a certification from a law enforcement agency. The U visa offers important benefits like protection from deportation, the ability to work legally, and a path to a green card. However, because demand is so high, wait times can be very long. That's why it's crucial to file a complete and well-documented application to help avoid unnecessary delays. Here's a practice tip. If your client is having trouble getting a law enforcement certification, there are a few steps you can take to help. You might try reaching out to the prosecutor's office or contacting the Victim Assistance Unit at the local police department. It can also be helpful to provide a sample letter or a cover memo that explains the certification process and what you're requesting. This can make it easier for the agency to understand and respond. This wraps up this lesson on U visa. Consider this visa as an option for your clients. Thank you for watching.